An amazingly dedicated manhunter brings closure for a local family. Daniel Yoder's wife, Pamela, was hit and killed on University Parkway when a man ran a red light. That man, Daniel Garcia, allegedly, was flown to a St. Petersburg hospital with critical injuries, and troopers believed he was drunk and would be in that hospital for a while recovering. But the next day, he walked out. Herald-Tribune reporter Todd Ruger has this amazing story of how one man with the sheriff's department spent months tracking down this illegal immigrant with no trace of family or relatives, right? How did he do it?
Well, that's right. Well, the first thing that fugitive hunters do is sit down at a computer
right,
and type in everything looking for relatives, friends, property, cars. Daniel Garcia turned out to be an illegal immigrant from Mexico, and none of that stuff popped up. He didn't have any threads to pull to try to find him. All he had was an old driver's license photo.
And tell me a little bit about this detective, Brian Barrett. He sounds kind of like a character.
He is actually. If you meet him, he's very strikes quite an impression in your mind. He's skinny and aggressive, and he loves doing his job. He's been a fugitive hunter now for several years, but it's something that he always grew up wanting to do.
So he really tracked down Garcia the old-fashioned way, right? I mean, he had to go door to door and that kind of thing.
Right. In a story that's going to be in tomorrow's paper, we lay out his whole track and what he had to go through to try to find him, and eventually tracked him all the way to Gainesville in a housing complex that a lot of migrant workers live in. So it's about 185 miles away from here.
And we know Garcia was in the hospital. I think we have the video here of him actually leaving Bayfront Medical Center, walking right out the front doors. And this is something that, you know, troopers on the scene that worked the car accident never expected, right?
Right. He actually was bay-flighted in a helicopter to that hospital with what were considered grave injuries. So the next day when he walks out, he's still holding his IV, it's still in his arm, and he's got his bag of clothes, he's wearing his gown. He was getting out of there, and he disappeared, and he was gone for 5 months.
Unbelievable. It's really a kind of a crazy story. I know you spent a lot of time on it. You can read it online, or you can pick up tomorrow's Herald-Tribune and find out just how Barrett followed Garcia's trail and eventually got his man.